Prison does two things to you. It brings out the best or it brings out the worst.
Welcome to the LifeScope channel. On your way in, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. It's appreciated as always. A man who was incarcerated for many years and then emerged as a prominent supporter of criminal justice reform has been arrested for killing and dismembering a guy from the Bronx. Sheldon Johnson, 48, pleaded not guilty to all counts at his arraignment. Court documents claim that he is accused of shooting 44-year-old Colin Small to death inside Small's Bronx residence.
Police say this is also him, here on Summit Avenue Tuesday night, carrying cleaning supplies and a full black garbage bag in and out of this building. Police were called to apartment 6G after a neighbor heard gunshots and saw Johnson in and out of the apartment. She told the building super. When police entered the apartment, they found a man's torso and a foot inside a bin. Law enforcement sources say after seeing Johnson on surveillance footage, they searched his apartment and found the victim's legs, arms, and head in the freezer. Police say the victim is 44-year-old Colin Small. Sources say it's possible their dispute stemmed from time they spent together in prison. But folks in this neighborhood shocked to hear that a man who had worked so hard to turn his life around, even working with the Queen's Defender's Office, might have fallen back to his old ways in a very violent fashion.
Johnson was found guilty in 1999 of a number of offenses, including robbery and murder. He was placed behind bars on June 8, 1999, released from prison after serving 2 decades. He identified himself as a client advocate for at-risk youth while working with Queen's Defender, which offers legal assistance to those who cannot afford to retain an attorney, yet have been charged with a crime in Queens. NYPD Chief of Detectives Joseph Kenney claims that Sheldon Johnson Jr. and Colin Smalls grew up in Harlem together. The males served time in prison at Sing Sing. So, what happened to cause such a horrific rift among so-called friends? Neighbors reported shouting or arguing, followed by a gunshot. Upon police arriving to Colin Small's home for the wellness check, they not only found the victim's head in the freezer, but a human arm and legs. During his appearance on the Joe Rogan Experience, Johnson identified as a product of intergenerational incarceration, who had to overcome social and financial obstacles as a young child. He said his father spent approximately 15 years behind bars when he was a kid. His grandpa served time in prison, and his great-grandfather was enslaved. Along with being a generational inmate, as Sheldon put it, the high-ranking blood gang member's father said he thought his son turned his life around. His father also added that he thought his son grew up as a good kid, but admits to not being there. Since Sheldon Jr. used to sell drugs, police think that might be the motive between the two former friends.
It feels like the devil just crawled through here.
I'm innocent.
Someone was pleading for their life.
The courtroom was filled with his supporters at his arraignment tonight, with one wearing a jacket reading, specializing in wrongful conviction cases. The executive director of his employer, the Queen's Defenders, also at court. They all declined comment.
Since this has been reported a few weeks ago, updates are sure to come out. Now, I want to talk about the recent news that just came out about Diddy. Law enforcement officials from both sides have targeted Sean Combs as federal officers surrounded his Beverly Hills residence.
Breaking news right now, we're following the Department of Homeland Security conducting a raid at a house in Holmby Field Hills, believed to be connected to Sean Combs, the rapper and music executive, perhaps being linked to a sex trafficking investigation.
He got some shots of a few people coming out of the home. Those people have been detained. Now, we're trying to still connect the dots. We do have some sources on scene here that we're getting this information from. We were actually the first ones here with about 30 different law enforcement vehicles at least. There are 3 Bearcats on scene here. This just all unfolded, Sandra, I would say, less than 10 minutes ago. We got here even before the crime scene tape came up. So we're just down the hill. If you look up the street where Tony is right now to the right, you'll see one of those Bearcats, and law enforcement. And on the other side of those bushes, basically, is that home that is registered to Bad Boy Films, which is part of Bad Boy Entertainment. And the home in particular is registered not only to Bad Boy Films, but to one of P. Diddy's daughters.
They are heavily armed, and they've been very tactful, would probably be the best word to use, as they made entry into this home this afternoon. We actually watched them as they made their way through one of these side gates, and as soon as they got inside the home, one of the first things they did was made their way into this garage that you see is open right there. Now, they did take a couple people into custody. We witnessed that. Now, are they under arrest? Are they just being asked about what they know? That I can't answer, but I can tell you there's 3 people right there that were taken into custody, were inside that home at the time of the raid.
We did see a bunch of investigators going in, making the raid in there and clearing that as well. So they're going to do a thorough search as they conduct this raid. And so far, Stu, from what I understand and from Haley on the ground there, they have not seen, and we have not seen from our vantage point, any sign of Sean Combs, the 54-year-old who is believed to be the property owner of this.
Now, not only did the feds do this to Diddy's California home, they also came for his Miami home.
And we begin with a live look from Chopper 6 of Sean Diddy Combs' Star Island home, one of 2 raided by federal agents this evening.
NBC6's Christian Colon joins us live from just outside the home with what we know at this time. Christian?
Hi there, guys. Yeah, very busy area here on Star Island. It's filled with law enforcement agencies, mostly a federal investigation, is what sources are telling NBC News. We're going to step out the way so you could see, but just the crowd of agents that are here right now blocking the street and entering in their home. I did speak to some people around here who work around the area, and they say they were just walking their dogs, living a normal life today, when suddenly just the parade of law enforcement agencies that came in and stormed into Diddy's home. We are told by sources tell NBC News that Homeland Security agents are executing a search warrant here in Miami, along with his Los Angeles home across the country. Properties all owned by Diddy, the rap music star. Sources also tell NBC News 3 women and 1 man have been interviewed by federal officials for allegations of sex trafficking, assault, and drug-related crimes. And we're told the warrant that's controlling both the search warrant here in New York along with here in Miami are from New York. HSI confirmed in a statement that they are also executing law enforcement actions.
Hey, you know they got your mans. They got your mans on sex assault charges. Yeah, the nigga you be hanging with. The nigga you be hanging with. Oh, yeah, sex offender. And he was your mans. He was your boy. I heard you grew up with him. That's crazy, man. You ain't know what he was doing? You ain't feel bad at all?
It is really going down for Puffy. I wonder, did someone tip him off because he wasn't at either home, and his own Love Air LLC plane that he has been showing off for years appears to be grounded in Antigua, which is located in the Caribbean. A video was sent to TMZ showing Diddy hanging around the airport. So was he waiting on his plane and the feds grounded it so he couldn't go anywhere? Or maybe Puffy was waiting to hear back about his sons before leaving. Lastly, I want to add a small clip from Sloan Bella, a psychic that had some very interesting things to say about Kim Porter and Diddy.
His mouth is being sewn up. So when I see his face, the image I get is the mouth is being sewn up. So he is going to be unable to speak for some reason. I can't talk. I cannot speak for myself anymore. This to me sounds like a losing of faculties, a losing of thought, a losing of thinking. I cannot speak, but it's sewed up around his mouth. That's actually how I'm seeing it. They're going to stitch his mouth shut. Why? I ask why. This is how it works for me. So when something hits me, I get impressions and I just express those impressions. I could be right, I could be wrong, obviously. Nobody's 100% right. It's always worked this way for me. So when I ask him energetically, meaning in my head, however you want to word that, when I ask her why his mouth is being sewn up, it's because of his mentors. And they don't want it coming out over here, even though some of them are outing themselves. These are old guys connected to old time, old style Motown. And she's showing me that he's being shut up from outing them or from speaking about them for some reason. So there's a hierarchy going on here, and there's a total takedown of him. He is being sacrificed. So he may think he gets away with stuff. He may think it's cool he does what he does, but now he's the sacrificial lamb. And I do mean that. There's something that comes up with him in March, speaking of the lamb, during the Easter time frame, March, April, right in that time frame. That's why I said lamb. There's something else that's going to come up with him. We are not done. It is a complete takedown, and then you will see this man's energy.
Now, whether or not you believe in psychics isn't the point. This woman made her video back in November, and here we are, so yeah. Anyway, let me know what you think, and don't forget to support the channel. Until next time.